So, hi guys, welcome back to Scottish Mixed Martial Arts. I'm Martin Hamilton. I'm joined today by Ben Schneider. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good.
So Ben, just to kick off the interview, you are fighting at Forza Fighting Championships against David Wilson. How do you see this fight going?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fight and anything can happen. But, I'd like to think going to the second or maybe the third round, it's going to be a tough fight. But as always, there's no point going in if you think you're already going to lose. So obviously, I'm in high spirits for the victory. But I know it's going to be a tough night, and I'm happy for the fight.
Yeah, because the fight's at heavyweight as well, isn't it? Is this going to be your weight class from now on, heavyweight, or are you looking to drop back down?
I mean, I started off light heavy, and then I got a few fights at heavyweight, and so I started fighting heavyweight, but I was really a lightweight. And then I made the decision to go down to middleweight, and I just didn't feel explosive. Maybe I did the diet wrong. Maybe I did a lot of things wrong at middleweight. And then, I got an injury and I just sailed back up to heavyweight during the injury period. And I've just sort of had a lot of interesting fights, in MMA and the hybrid boxing at heavyweight. So I just thought, I'm 34 now. Maybe I'll just still lose a bit of weight, but maybe stay up in the heavier weight category.
Yeah, because it must make your fight camps a bit more enjoyable as well, that you're not focusing solely on dieting, cutting weight, all that kind of stuff, and you can focus on the fight rather than all the other aspects that go into weight cutting.
Yeah, I mean, as well with working shift work, long, hard manual labor sort of work, it's difficult to stay. It's not really difficult at the minute because we're lucky enough to have a cook on site. But I think for me, mentally, it's the same as people say I shouldn't be run all the time. But I think mentally, if I'm not dieting or I'm not, like, let's say, road running, I don't really feel like I'm putting that sort of work in. So there's a lot more than just that. I mean, I know I've always looked the same. I don't think, no matter what, even when I was weighing in at 84 kilo and walking around at 92, I've always sort of looked the same. I've just got one of those bodies. But no, believe it or not, I do put a bit of work in.
Yeah. No, I thought that I knew you did, because obviously I follow you on social media and stuff like that, and I see that you're out running. I see the dieting aspect that was going into it. It goes into it. I was more meaning like cutting down, like water cutting, all that kind of hot baths. That aspect of your training camps has been taken away.
Oh, definitely. And it does, like, make, especially with work and knowing I've got a training session at the end of a long day, when I can go, you know what, I'll have a couple of carbs, I'll have some, some rice. It helps. It helps. Yeah,
because that's the thing as well. A lot of people don't understand. It's for many, like, professional MMA fighters like yourself, it's essentially a second job for them. So how you pay the bills, how you look after your family, you have that other job, and it's the rigs you work on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I work in the gas industry.
Yeah, so like for anyone that doesn't know, like, that's very hard working. That's a very hard working job. So you need to be fueled to do that kind of job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where things start getting a bit tricky. That must be where they start getting a bit tricky, because you're balancing, like, your career while preparing for fights as well, and you need to almost at times prioritize, like, what comes first, because at the end of the day you need to support your family.
Yes, so that's it. I mean, we've all got work Monday morning, and unfortunately this year I've had to pull out of a few fights because it works on the rotations where I'm away with work. So, that's really annoying. But yeah, I mean, especially with Forza, like, so I'll be fighting on the Sunday. I'm back up for work on the Monday.
Yeah.
So I've gone to work in some states, put it that way.
Because that's the thing as well. Like, you're a guy that likes to be extremely active. Like, you like to fight every month or every other month. So what is your goals for 2022?
I mean, I already have 3, maybe 4 exciting fights coming up, but I mean, I'd like to have a good, exciting fight year, as in some real high level, exciting fights. Not just fighters I'm fighting, but fights within the fights themselves. I always fight the top of the top when it comes to opponents. I like to think, if I've got the option between two fighters, I'll always go for the tougher one.
Why, if you don't mind me asking, is that something that's a pride thing for you? Because a lot of people, once they lose a fight or two, they might start looking for that kind of easy way out, or the kind of, not the easy way out, but the easier path to victory. So how is it that you just keep going, you keep striving for that, the top of the heap?
I mean, yeah, I think it is a pride thing. I think it's a pro and a pride thing. I mean, how I have obviously a lot of friends in work. I have a lot of friends in the gyms I've trained at, a lot of people I've met over the years, as well as my own kids. You know, I want to look them in the face and say, you know, I won. It was a tough fight. It was a tough opponent, but I got the win, or it went all the way to decision, or it was a good fight, blah, blah, blah. And I morally can't do that if I know I had an option of two fighters and I picked the one that wasn't as ranked, or the one that hasn't had as many wins as the other one, because everyone's tough. Everyone wants to fight that gets in there. No one's making us do it.
Yeah,
but it's more of a pride thing. Yeah.
Okay. So you've gone into, I believe it's your 29th or 30th professional fight.
I've had a lot more than that, than what's actually online, but yeah, right. Yeah.
So get into this fight, what, if any, changes will you be making to your camp, if you don't mind us asking?
I mean, and again, the proof sometimes isn't in the pudding, but I always train. I'm always training, like up here with Procore and all the boys up here. I mean, my fight camps, especially for like mixed martial arts, you've got to actually be doing a mixture. You know, you can't just. But I mean, I wouldn't really say any big changes, because unfortunately, well, the change going into this one is that I'm actually taking my training team with me, rather than going, because of the way some fights fall and people's work commitments. Even if they run a gym, it's not all they do. I've actually gone to many fights, unfortunately, on my own, which probably hasn't benefited in any sort of way, but it's no excuse. It probably would have ended the same way as it did. So this fight, I am taking a full team and a few good supporters, because it's local to where I am at the minute, which is good. Changes, I'm starting to change a little bit smarter when I train a little bit smarter, because I tend to just go, I'm not going to let these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, run away with me in training. And then what I end up doing is I can't make it downstairs after, because I still think in my head I'm the same age. So I'm training a little bit smarter.
And see, to be honest, that could be one of the biggest impacts to your whole career, is just that way of knowing your body a bit better, because you hear it so much that guys that leave it all in the gym, like you hear about so many fighters that are the best guy in the gym, and when it comes to fight night, there's just nothing left, because they've left it all in there. And that comes with experience as well. Like, you've been in there and you've experienced basically every situation you could experience in a mixed martial arts fight, every experience in training. So having that wee kind of know-how, those kind of adaptations, that could be huge for you getting into your next fight.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm one of those guys that I ain't no bitch, and it's the same as in training. Someone says, "Oh, do you want to spar?" And I go, "Oh, I sparred last night," but in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh, he wants to see if I can spar." So then before I know it, I'm doing a lot more than I probably should in a week. But again, that's a pride thing. I need to keep that in check sometimes.
Getting into the fight as well, and knowing that you've got your corner there, and knowing that you're going to get a proper warm-up before the fight, because the last time we spoke, you'd said that that's not always the case, but sometimes other coaches for other gyms had helped you out. How important is that for your mindset, getting in and knowing that you'll be in peak condition by the minute you're stepping into that cage, because you're getting your warm-up, you're getting the rolls in before you go in, you're getting that pad work?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, anyone can, well, not anyone, but a lot of people can hold pads and see a problem or see something. But when you've got that trust with your coaches that you've put in months and months worth of work, and then they're there with you in the warm-up area, telling you things, it's a lot different than when you have someone that's sort of like, oh, listen, I'll help you warm up, for the fight. So yeah, it's going to be a big help.
And that's it. And it's having guys round about you that know you and know where your strengths are, know maybe where your weaknesses are as well. Because sometimes like they might be giving you like combinations in the pads that isn't your forte, and you're not getting the most out of that kind of warm up, and you're getting into the cage without being fully warmed up and still being a bit stiff. And for anyone out there, like that can be the difference maker in a fight. Is if you're getting in there like fully warmed up, fully loose, and fully ready. Like, because if you're not, that could be, and your opponent is, that by the time you finally switch on in there or finally get the body moving, the blood flowing around, it could be over, especially at the higher up weights.
Yeah, definitely. Doesn't take much to change a fight.
No, and especially when you're talking about guys that weigh about 100 and 115 kilograms. Like,
yeah.
So you fought in Forza before, and you must have a good relationship with Enzo through that. Like, where does Forza rank on the events that you've featured in? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's so many events I've fought on over the years, and so many. There's little things to me that make a show, or that make like a promoter, and it's someone that interacts with you in the lead up. They don't pass you off to someone else. And then on the night, like he came, came to the hotel, we spoke, we met, and he kept in touch with me before and after, and also looked after me when I was there. Because again, unfortunately on that one, I couldn't take my coaching team because they were busy, but he made sure he came round, checked in on me, and got me ready.
Yeah, and for a lot of people as well, that's a huge impact. Like, just knowing that the promoter cares about the fighters. But that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And that's what makes the difference. You can put all the money you want into lighting rigs and your run up to the show or your promotional stuff and the crowd and putting it all around them, and you can forget about your fighters. And many times I've gone to some amazing shows and gone in the warm-up room, and there's little things like there's no water, little things like that,
And do you think with the fact that Enzo has had like an MMA career himself, like he's fought, do you think that's what makes the difference?
I think, yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't have to have had a fight career to put on an amazing show, but you need to understand where the fighters come from, and you can tell he understands.
Yeah. So see, for the guys that don't have like a fighting background, do you think it's important for them to have like consults? So like guys round about them who have?
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the shows where they'll say, oh, they just love the fight game and they want to put it on for the fighters, the shows. And then you can look at maybe you speak to someone from their team and you go, oh, he's an ex-fighter or a current fighter. So yeah, like you say, it's good.
Yeah. And that's really reassuring for fans to hear as well, that the fighters are looked after proper, because sometimes that's your fear when you're buying tickets for promotions is, are the fighters going to be well represented within this promotion? Are the fighters getting the best of the kind of money that's being pumped in?
Yeah, that's it. No, that's it.
So just the last question before I let you go, Ben, but your opponent, Dave Wilson, he's had a long absence from the cage. Is this something that you're looking to capitalise on?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not one of these guys that spends too much time dwelling or spending my emotion thinking about my opponents. Not to the point that I don't value them, but to the point where we're going to fight, and I can't look at your past fights or what you did last week and prepare for that in this fight, because you might not do it. I've had fights in the past where I prepared for someone who would throw a lot of leg kicks, and he didn't throw one leg kick for 2 rounds. So I spent 2 rounds sort of on the back foot waiting for something that never came. So I learned from that fight to just prepare for the best possible version of me and the best possible version of them in every scenario, and just take it from there. that's me as an individual though. So
Yeah, that's really quite interesting to hear you say that, because I feel that could be the issue in a few fights. Let's see, especially for guys who are well known for having one weapon, for like having one particular weapon, like you were saying, the low kicks, or they've got a great right hand, or they've got a great triangle choke, and that just embeds in your brain for the whole fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that fight, he broke his foot in the fight camp. I think I found out after. So I was waiting for a low kick, which he was never going to throw. And he was a stand-up fighter. And in the end, he ended up shooting in, and I weren't expecting it. Shot in, took me down. And things like that. But so I always prepare for the best possible version. I never really look at the fights they've lost. I look at the fights they've won, because anyone can lose. But let's look and train for the times they won, and work from there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good bit of information for like the guys out there who are looking to fight and spend so much time analysing footage of opponents and just overthinking it in their brain, sort of thing. Like, just kind of focus on yourself. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, definitely. There's no point putting 100% effort into your opponent and you're putting 30-40% into yourself. You've got to put all 100 into you, and your opponent's always going to be there, and he's always going to come in ready.
Yeah, but Ben, thanks very much for your time. It's been hugely appreciated, and I hope to see yourself and David put on a great show in March 27th.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Right, no worries, and thanks very much for listening at home, guys.